Yes.
I really would have liked to discuss more inappropriate things with you guys, but oh well.
I feel like dick size was a good inappropriate conversation.
Fine.
We'll continue this later.
Hi everybody, this is Alex.
Yo, yo! This is Carla.
Welcome to
What have you been reading?
We're so excited today. We have our very first guest. Andee's here.
Yay!
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Andee is my resident ACOTAR special, and this podcast episode will definitely be focused on the ACOTAR books. So hopefully that's your jam, and if not, I guess you can wait a couple weeks for our next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Christa comes out of her shell. I mentioned it in episode 5.
Yes.
That I had started it.
And I'm really excited to hear how it ends.
Okay, I'm not spoiling all of it.
Come on.
I know, I'll spoil some of it. But this was the one where the dad had supposedly died in airplane accident in Alaska. And then he came back like 25 years later. And it turned out that he was just living this separate life with his wife.
Yeah.
A different wife.
A new wife. Yeah, a new wife.
A polygamist, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. I loved it. I know. I'm so glad that Andee's here because she's the one that's lent me all of these Abby Waxman books, and they've been fantastic. It was funny. I loved the development of the character. Like, she runs away basically from home because she doesn't want to deal with all of his stuff, and then she's forced to come back because of the dad thing. And then obviously throughout the book, she kind of...
Spoil it.
Okay, do you want me to spoil it?
Spoil it. This is literally what I'm here for.
Okay, the main spoiler is that the dad had been having an affair with that woman for years before his accident, and the accident was his agent's ploy to basically make money off of the dad leaving. The dad wanted to divorce the wife anyway and was going to quit, and the agent guy was like, whoa, we're making a ton of money and we could probably make a lot more if you die and you can go off with this woman.
What about his
Rather
kids?
than if you leave your wife and then you're just the asshole who leaves his wife. Instead, we're going to spin this because, you know, that's what they do. And yeah, he just left his kids and his wife.
I have a feeling that I would be really good at that job. I would be such a good spin
things.
artist.
Yeah.
I would have fun too.
Do you have an evil side?
I do.
There you go.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Definitely some spicy scenes. So I would add my jalapeno on this one.
I loved Christa as a character. I absolutely loved her.
She's like a science nerd. She's very different from the rest of her family. I loved all of the little science facts and how she handled high stress situations, is to focus on like scientific facts, which was pretty fun. And
her development over the book, I thought, was fantastic. She made a lot of progress as a person.
Yeah, she started realizing, I'm really reacting to this in a poor way and kind of stepping back. And I liked the other characters. Like, she has a mom and 2 sisters. And I liked all of them. Like, the sisters had really important developments as well from when they were younger to the now.
And because you're making that face because you can't believe that this dad did that. Even more he was kind of like a Steve Irwin kind of.
That's exactly what I was picturing.
Yes, he was like a Steve. That's how famous he was when
he
left.
love Steve Irwin.
And his daughter Christa was also famous because of this one photo. So it was always the dad and Christa together on this show. She was very integral. So he really messed her up. And then when he came back, they were trying to lure Christa back into like joining in on their craziness.
Yeah.
And to make more money, that if Christa came back and did a book with them or made a TV show or all of these things.
And Christa's like, I just want to get back to my little secret island and my snails, because she was studying snails.
How does the dad's story end?
I think it ends fine, unfortunately. He, people forget about things and you spin it the right way and he recovers just fine.
But she's okay too. So is the mom. So are the sisters.
Yeah, she goes back to her island. and continues.
Do they have a relationship after this?
I don't think so.
No, I can't remember I'm like you. I don't always remember details very strongly.
No, I have a feeling that there was not going to be a relationship with the dad, and that was fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, folks.
I think when they were still mending, like when they were talking about his coming back and how they were going to handle it, there was a potential for a relationship. But then when they found out that he had basically orchestrated all of it and had been having an affair, I think that was the, like, no thanks.
Yeah.
She was already having trouble. She was so young when he disappeared that she didn't have an existing relationship to fall back on, like her older sisters. They were happy to see him. She didn't have that. She just had the memory of him leaving. So she wasn't as invested in having a relationship with him. So I don't think it was very hard for her to let him go. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So thank you, Andee.
I love it.
Fantastic.
I love Abby Waxman.
Okay, so A Court of Thorns and Roses.
The 5
and
books.
All 5 books. So you finished book 5.
I did.
And?
Okay, so I started book 5 really, really disliking Nesta.
Yeah.
And at the end of book 5, I
don't think anyone starts any of those.
Well, apparently Andee's like real down with Nesta.
I am. I really.
But were you down with Nesta before book 5?
Yes.
Oh.
Because I could see with all the 3 sisters, it's all, to me, I see it as all being a trauma response.
Yeah.
And how you handle trauma. So you're probably more of a Feyra. Like if trauma happens, something happens, you pick yourself up and you just sort of go on. Whereas I related more to Nesta. I don't do the things that Nesta did, but making poor choices.
Sure.
Making poor choices before I finally get where I need to go.
Yeah.
Or if you're more like an Elaine, where you just sort of live in your bubble.
Yeah.
And don't really do anything. So when people are anti-Nesta, I think, they probably lean more towards a Feyra.
Yeah.
I can't stand Feyra, though.
Well, sometimes.
Overall, this was not your series. It's just provided a lot of fun conversation.
Yes, exactly.
But we know where you stand generally.
Generally, yes. Generally, I dislike everybody.
Yes.
So I see where you're coming from on that side. However, I feel that this is gonna be a thing that I'm gonna say.
I'm so excited.
It is what it is. Okay, I don't care.
And it's fine.
I don't care if that's what the trauma response is. Y'all are dying. You guys are literally starving.
She's still being a shitty person.
She's still being a shitty person. And like cut and dry, get your ass out there and put a carrot on the ground and then bring it back out. Give me a carrot, give me a root vegetable is hardy and it's not difficult to grow. Okay?
Carrots are actually very difficult to grow.
I was going to say, maybe, I don't know. I've never grown it.
What about a potato? A squash?
Yes.
Okay.
Carrots are terribly difficult to grow. I have some funny stories about that.
Throw a potato in there. Throw a tomato. Do something.
Right. Tomatoes are
something.
Difficult too.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I have a tomato plant at my house, and I have eaten 3 of them. My point is that like these 2 girls that were doing absolutely nothing could have 100% contributed more to that household, should not have to be told to cut some wood. Like, no, I'm really sorry. Feyra carried them, and if I had been Feyra, I would not have carried them. I don't I don't care about the promise made to my mother.
They would have never made it to the cauldron, I'll tell you that.
They would not have.
They'd have been dead.
Yeah.
They would have
starved.
I would have been eating my wolf by myself, okay?
She would have Claire bettered them.
It's like, look, if you've got no, like the dad, maybe I would have stuck around with the dad because he literally had no walking like way for him to do anything. Crochet me a freaking blanket.
Wait, he
You're
couldn't walk?
putting more expectations on the sisters
No,
than you are on the dad.
I'm saying that the dad was not able-bodied, and he is still expected to crochet me a blanket.
Okay. Contribute what you can.
Contribute what you can. They are able-bodied. They are able-bodied, so I would have expected them to garden or to help sell the pelts. And I told Alex that. Put a squash in the freaking ground or go help sell these pelts.
Yeah.
Do something.
Okay. So I want to talk about the house because I know Andee pushed back a little bit, and I feel like my feelings weren't clear the last time we talked about the house because I kept saying how the
Pushback is a
townhouse
little weak. I was outraged as I was trying to get ready for bed that night listening to the podcast.
So I was saying that the
And texted
townhouse,
you.
that I like the townhouse better
Because it's cozy.
because it's cozier. And also hold on, wait a second. Carla's raising her hand and she's ready to bite my head off. I also didn't want to spoil any parts of the house being sentient. Is that how you say it?
All right.
So I didn't want to spoil those parts of it because I did want to say, I love that part of the House of Wind, that like it becomes this thing that is caring and loving.
But
and
what
providing.
you said was...
But I prefer the coziness of the townhouse, and I do. I feel
How
like
do you not think that the house is cozy when it's literally like
it's called
a
the House
hug?
of Wind.
It's a
I
hug
picture
in
it
a
windy.
house.
It has
drafty.
it's open.
It's a building that hugs
And
you.
you've got a monster in the basement. No, thank you.
Not by
True. But I don't know. To me, the townhouse just seems like small and cozy, and I just want to read my book and whatever. But I know that Nesta obviously got books from the house, which I thought was adorable and super cute and takes care of her.
There will be no house slander.
And I love how the house would kick her out of her room, right? Like it wouldn't bring her
Yeah.
dinner when it wanted to get her out. I loved
how, but
those
doesn't
things.
everyone? That's exactly what Nesta needed, right? Was somebody
Yes.
to take care of her and nurture her and provide her with what she needed so that she could make that progress.
Yeah.
She needed to be in the house getting that because she didn't get that as a child. That's all part
Yeah.
of the whole, So it was all part of her character development, what the house provided. Because why weren't we were told little bits and pieces about the house, but we didn't really get to know the house as a character until book 5.
Yeah.
But
well,
that,
do you think, and maybe I'm confusing things, but do you think the house was always like that? Because no one else knew that this house was sentient. Do you think it became sentient because of her?
Amren says that it's because of Nesta.
Yeah. So it became what she needed. Do you think it was because of the powers she absorbed from the cauldron?
Yes.
Which is, I think it has to be right. But it gets so complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when she made those weapons, she basically made the house.
Oh.
She imbued her power into those weapons, and she says to Amren that when she went into the house, she wanted a friend.
Aww.
So,
Bless her little heart.
Oh, Nesta needs to get over herself.
Let me ask, how many stairs do you guys think you'd make it down and up?
2.
Aren't they like what? They're big stairs too.
Big stairs.
Yeah, I think 2's fair. Maybe 10. On
How
a
many
good
are
day.
there?
10,000.
1,000. Oh, 10,000.
10,000.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of stairs.
Have you seen the reels on Instagram where people are trying to do the Nesta challenge on the Stairmaster at the gym? And they're like, this is crazy. Like, you can't do it.
No way.
No. Although that would be a good workout for your butt. Oh, your gluteus maximus would be maxing out.
It would be maximized.
Yeah.
And going down, that's hard.
You know what I would do is I would go down backward so as to like hit different muscle groups.
Look at you.
Bam, bam, bam.
She clearly thought about this.
I have not.
Is there anything else you remember about book 5 before we maybe talk about in general?
Okay. Well, okay. So in book 5,
there's the workouts.
And then there's the sex. Now, here's the thing. Nesta says that his...
Oh, I have things to talk about on this. Yes.
Nesta says that his dick is like super huge, right?
Yes, this is what I was
Andee, I'm really sorry.
Listen,
Andee, I'm really sorry.
He's my man. Let me tell you, it's all good.
So, Nesta says that his schlong is schlongen. All right.
Yes.
So, my question is this: he says that before the war, he had sex with this lady behind a bar, like in an alley. Mm-hmm. So, she couldn't do it like willy-nilly. She had to like be worked into it, right? Like their first time together.
Oh.
She needed time.
Yes, to stretch her vagina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you telling me that this poor lady from the bar is like fucking walking around with like a wine barrel down there?
Here's what bothered me about this stuff is that it, like, even reading it to me, I'm like, that sounds painful.
Yeah.
That does not sound enjoyable to me.
No.
Well,
Maybe you'll disagree.
the lady
Andee.
behind the bar probably just had to go straight to the healers after.
Probably to fix her
How
vagina.
did she get there? Did she crawl there?
Probably.
Yeah.
He just left her there. He's like,
But also,
see ya.
let's remember that with the wingspan, we know that as
Has a larger one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to get a little serious about this conversation because I've read it in multiple...
wingspan matters.
oh my God, you've got stickers?
Don't give us that face, Carla. I have stickers too.
Alex gave me this sticker.
Carla gave us a judgy look.
Oh my God. And it's fine.
I do want to recommend that you guys start putting this on YouTube as well because
To see Carla's face.
yes, because this really matters.
But I
Okay.
refuse to make. I don't like video. I've told you guys I'm really shy.
We can tell. Okay, so I can't remember the book that I read it in, but it goes into, how we talk about size matters and does it, obviously it does to some degree, but reading that to me was uncomfortable and painful. Like, I don't want that.
See, and
right?
that's
But
because you
as a-
visualize.
And you don't. Yes. But as a society, right, men have put out this idea that dick size matters, and the bigger the dick, the more of a man you are. And as women, we have learned to keep that going, even though as women, we recognize that that's not true.
Like, I don't want something that's going to hurt me.
Right. But because of the patriarchy,
I was gonna say that because of the patriarchy,
We've been
we
told.
we should be saying this doesn't matter. But because of books and how fun they are, we're like, I'm all on
Here's
it.
the thing. Here's the
Literally
thing.
on it.
Here's the thing.
Thank you, Carla.
I had a very delayed reaction to
I'm glad you caught on.
And he's like, thanks for joining us, Carla.
It just wouldn't be as fun if Sarah J. Maas just says, they're all like average or below.
Yeah.
It's
Well, hold on.
it's
Nobody
not
wants
just-
below either.
Right. I think there's a middle space, right? And there's obviously other things that come
Into play.
It's not just the size, but we keep telling ourselves, and society keeps telling ourselves, and even female writers keep, I know it's really hot, keep, perpetuating, right, this idea that
Correct. Yes.
bigger is better.
I'm able to hold two spaces.
Yeah.
Screw the patriarchy.
And also, sometimes
Also
it's fun.
screw it, Cassian. Both are
I
fine.
hope you're stretching your vagina.
God.
Doing some exercises.
Otherwise, you're going to have to crawl to a healer.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I was going to recommend that my brother listen to this, but we'll probably go ahead and skip that recommendation. In all of these books in general, they perpetuate this idea that is not actually true, but we enjoy it. And I think one of the reasons that we like these guys in all of these books, in any kind of romance or romantasy or whatever, is because they're these amazing guys, they're written by women.
Yeah, of what we want in a man.
That's not what men are really like. You know, the book that I'm listening to right now, the new Allie, is it the new Allie Hazelwood book?
Oh, yeah. Is it Bride? The Bride?
No, she has a new one. It's called Not in Love.
I will say I think Jeff is pretty close. I love him.
Aww.
He's amazing.
He's so perfect.
There's that sap!
I know.
But the guy
But he has all of the things, like, he's caring. And, like, the things that I love reading about, and just, like, one of the things
you do know that that's rare, right?
I do. I absolutely recognize that. And I tell him that all the time. And he's like, well, that's just how people should be. And I go, I know, but they're not.
Right.
They're not like you. But like the trope that I love is when the guy takes care of the girl when she's sick. I'm like, oh, yes. Like, give me a man that can hold my hair.
Make chicken noodle soup.
Make chicken noodle soup. Yeah.
Go buy chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, buy it if you have to.
Right. But I think that's why we like these men.
Yes.
Is because they're written by women.
Yeah.
And it's not what most men really are.
Yeah.
Like in that book, what's I'm assuming is going to be the love interest couple, they meet in a dating app that's meant just for sex, just hookup.
Tinder?
No, she didn't name it, but it's meant specifically only, like, no names. You list I mean, I don't even know if there's something like that really exists. This guy ends up being, like, so kind and caring. And they
I'd be like, oh no.
I was like feeling
I gotta go. And he takes such good care of her when something like scary happens, and I was like, no dude that would be on an app like that would be like that.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, this is a
That's
male
not
character
true though, because so here's
99.9999999.
Here's the thing. I suck as a person sometimes.
I would disagree, but go ahead.
But if I like you as a human, I am 100% gonna
But they didn't know each other. He went out of his way to help her.
Oh, well, then he just thought that she was hot.
No, see, that's no.
You're like,
he did, but I think again, it's
So
a little bit of
disconnect in the character.
I think that this is what women want, and so women write for women, but I don't
even
think
when the reality is not.
This kind of app, if you have any friends that are on dating apps, they're terrible.
Yeah, I've
they're
heard some
horrible.
horror stories.
I just can't even imagine doing that myself. Yeah. It's terrible, let alone an app that's meant specifically just for one-time hookups and sex specifically, how terrible it would be.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's a rough world out there.
It's a rough world. I'm so thankful, and I'm not in the dating world because I hear it's real.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm also not in it, but by choice. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want. No, ew.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I took us on a whole journey.
I don't remember where we started.
Let's just go back to ACOTAR.
Okay,
this is all because of Cassian.
We're talking about the sex in book 5.
So,
but there are other things, obviously.
So,
There's
remember how I despised Feyra and Rhysand?
You said they were like Splenda.
They were like Splenda.
Yeah.
These people felt more like Coke. Okay.
Yeah, like genuine.
Like cocaine?
No.
Or Coca-Cola?
No, because I said that they felt like they tasted like Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And these Cassian and Nesta seem a little bit more settled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, even though they're not, they're like fucking all over the place. But in terms of like, they're not so sappy, which I appreciated that. I appreciated the fact that there was snark like it always underlying there.
Yes.
Like they're not
like
super
them.
sweet. Mm-hmm. Which thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Grazie.
I have to have, if a relationship can't have snark, I don't want it.
Oh yeah, it's so boring.
Yeah.
I love Nesta coming around to like the workouts and becoming like a badass.
Yep.
Yeah, that was nice. Good for her. Like, however,
However,
how are they Valkyries now? It's been like a month.
they're training really hard, Carla.
No.
They're Fae.
Okay, but so were the actual Valkyries. So I would imagine that actual Valkyries that have been training like for their whole lives are going to be a little bit more badass than a formerly human person who couldn't do anything.
But they have it inside. It's the inside.
Okay.
Do you guys want to talk a
And
little
the
bit?
priestesses and like the shopkeeper, you know?
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk
Gwen.
about?
I love Gwen.
I thought she was a spy.
Oh, did you?
Remember?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did not like Gwen when she first came around
I
because
remember
there
you
was
sent me
something about her that I was like, there's something about her that's off.
Okay, hold on. Refresh my. Is Gwen the shop girl?
Gwen is the priestess that is within the library.
Oh, okay. Who's the girl that owns the shop that is also then training with Nesta? What's her
Emery.
name? Emery.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that Gwen and Az are going to end up together.
Really?
I think that they have to because if Az ends up with Elaine, I'm going to be mad.
If Az ends up with Elaine, I'm out. I will.
You don't think
No.
Az will end up? I was thinking he'd end up. Oh no, because the shopkeeper is lesbian, right?
More no, the Emery. I don't remember. I think
feel
so.
like she-
maybe Emery and
Well,
Moore
she
are going to
looks-
end up together.
Because she
But-
looks at
Oh,
Moore
yeah.
for way too long. She looks at her like,
There's a part in Silver Flames where when Az sees Gwen, his shadows dance.
what?
Oh, see, Andee gets those little details.
I did not pay attention to that.
So it's so interesting. I'm really excited. I just started my reread, and I'm on Court of Mist and Fury, and I
thinking about all these
noticed so
shadows going
many.
like,
Yeah. There's so many parts that I'm
Carla did a wacky inflatable guy dance.
I'm telling you,
with
this
her
has
arms.
to be recorded. But on my reread, I'm picking up on so many little things. So I'm so interested to see when I get to Silver Flames.
If you pick up some
what
more.
kinds of other things I pick up. Because there's so many little things that I'm remembering, that I'm seeing now that I had no recollection of.
What book are you currently on reread wise?
The second one, A Court of Mist and Fury.
Okay.
So I am not on chapter 54 yet, and I'm dying to get there.
There's leggings in that chapter, girl.
Leggings.
Which is like, why are there leggings in this fantasy world?
Everybody needs to be. It was snowy.
Everyone
It's
needs to be
cold,
comfortable.
cozy.
Comfy,
And
comfy.
sweaters. And they should be something else. It should be like, I don't know, like,
I kind of like that stuff. I kind of liked it. It had these parts of.
it threw me
life.
completely out because I feel like leggings became popular like in our thing, like, I don't know, like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, what year is this?
I did get thrown off by them having. I think I mentioned it. Maybe I was talking with you guys. Remember? Maybe I mentioned it before about having a bathroom.
It was with
Right.
me and we
Yeah.
went into a really weird area.
And
yeah, the little things like that I was like, oh, yeah, it's just part of the story. But I keep picturing this like ancient timeline when really it's not. Obviously, it's like a mixture of then and now and whatever.
And when you read Crescent City, Nesta and Az go and meet Bryce, and they go Crescent City and ACOTAR align,
Oh,
and Crescent City's they have technology and guns and electricity, and that's ahead of us. So
Miss
there's-
Ma'am,
there's
have
street
you read
lights
these
in-
books?
no. I just mentioned at the last little book hangout that we had with Andee and our friends, I was talking about how I feel a little overwhelmed with the options of series that Sarah J. Maas had. Like, her universe is so big. So they recommended Throne of Glass?
no,
Crescent
we
City.
recommended Crescent City
There's
for
only
you.
3 rather than Throne of Glass, which is
8.
So are they time traveling there, or is it just a different area where they're not sharing their technology?
Well, they're not sharing their Nesta. They need the power. They need Nesta's power
I
She
guess
got
what
rid of the
Carla's
power.
saying is if this other place has like electricity and all these advances, does
So it's a
Velaris
different-
just not have it?
Right. So they're in
But
a
they're
different
in the same timeline.
it must be because they meet up,
Yeah.
but they're in a different world. But
Okay.
they're in the same and
Sphere.
I don't know, might not no, I don't think it's the same sphere. I think it's like a different planet.
Oh.
No. How? No, there's no spaceships. How are they getting there?
Well, don't they
Portals.
Portals.
Holy
Portals.
cannoli. Holy cannoli.
And they travel. Remember how they
They do
The
travel.
winnowing.
they winnow? Yeah. They do the winnowing. So do you think the next book will be Elaine?
I think that's what, yeah. So I think Elaine and Tamlin would be fantastic together.
Oh.
Ew.
I don't love Elaine and I don't love Tamlin.
So
So
let's
you don't think-
bunch them together elsewhere. Or like,
So you don't think Elaine
I think Lucien deserves better.
Oh.
I think Lucien deserves better.
bam. Okay, hold on to your panties. What?
Andy's holding her panties.
I'm holding them.
What is it about Lucien that makes you think he deserves better and Elaine doesn't deserve better than Tamlin?
So like most people, I absolutely fell in love with Tamlin in A Court of Thorns and Roses, not knowing
I did not.
better.
Well, you don't like any of them.
I know you don't. I'm not
You
sure
didn't like the book at all.
I'm not sure who you like. I'm concerned that you may not like me. I don't know. So
I like people. Okay, go ahead.
and I'm not excusing what Tamlin did, because what Tamlin did to Feyre is obviously terrible and not okay. But he also, and Feyre does, that was one of the things that I remembered, that I noticed when I'm reading Mist and Fury that I didn't remember the first time. Feyre says that she understands, like, as terrible as the things that Tamlin did, he took care of her family.
Yeah.
When he brought her the first time because of this, whatever, the rule, her family was brought out of poverty because of him.
Yeah.
And her dad was able to restart his business and do everything. He took really good care of them. And even though
Which he didn't have to do.
which he did not
Yeah.
have to do.
Or at that level.
Correct. And locking her up and forcing her in, that's terrible, obviously. And I don't want to make an excuse, but it is going to come off sounding like an excuse. He did it for what he thought was best for Feyre.
Yeah.
It was not what's best for Feyre. But he also just came out from under the mountain.
Yeah.
Rhys also does terrible things from his trauma from under the mountain.
Like what?
The way the way that he is, treating people when he when they go to the Court of Nightmares.
But that's not a trauma response to Under the Mountain. That's a response that he had built in
His-
prior to that because those people suck.
Well, that's
So
true. But
that was his way of keeping them under control.
The way he brings Feyre close and then pushes her away and leading, it's kind of like.
But
this
he's doing that
dance.
because of her. He's doing that
He
because
says again in A Court of Mist and Fury that he couldn't do more.
because she told him that he was only a distraction.
But he also says that he couldn't do more because
Interesting.
because he was essentially sexually assaulted for 50
Yeah.
years. So that's obviously going to bring some trauma back. So,
You're talking about Tamlin.
So going back to Tamlin, yes. I don't want to make excuses, but I realize that it does come off that way. So
Are
I
you
don't
saying
I
that
think he has an ability to grow. He has an ability to have a redemption arc in another book and come to the realization that what he did was not okay.
Are you saying that Elaine is going to be to Tamlin what Cassian was to Nesta?
I don't know that they're going to be mated or bonded, whatever that's called, because I don't know if Lucien and Elaine are truly bonded, if you can say no to that bond and then bond with somebody else. But even though everyone in the books is bonded and mated, apparently it's rare. So you still could have a lovely relationship
with someone else
and be not mated or bonded or whatever.
And I think it was mentioned at some point too that people have done that they have
they talk about how rare it is, right?
Yeah, but ignored the mating thing and kind of gone their own way. So it's a possibility.
I really want Lucien to be happy. I feel like he got a very short end of a stick.
Lucien
he got a short stick.
Yeah, Lucien was, the way he was treated by his, maybe. We don't, does he have wings? I don't even know.
I don't think so.
He doesn't, but he has fire. Fuego.
Was treated terribly by his family. And was ousted from his court.
Yeah. Oh, but wait, who's his real dad, right? There was that
Snap-a-doodle.
Yeah.
His real dad is Helion.
So I think he's going to end up becoming a High Lord.
Yeah.
Helion has no kids.
He does.
But he doesn't know.
Well, aside from Lucien.
But he doesn't know that Lucien is his son, right?
No.
I don't think,
I don't
think he does.
Can't remember if Helion had an idea, but Lucien didn't. For sure Lucien doesn't.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But wasn't it Feyra that obviously she's so young but so smart and she put it together? Was she the one?
Right.
She's the only one that
There's 500 years of history that no one's been able to tell that Lucien is his son, but she put it together real quick.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't think it would be a good idea without a major redemption arc for Tamlin.
Well, Tamlin is going to have to get some sort of story. He has to.
Right.
He has such a large part in the beginning of the story, and he's still playing a little bit of a role, and he's still mentioned when Feyra's pregnant. He's still mentioned.
Oh, let's talk about the baby.
Okay. So, you don't know this because this was cut from the episode of book 4, which was that I did not think that it was cool that Feyra wanted to have a kid. And like really quickly, I thought that it was a decision made out of trauma and fear. And
Feyra's decision or Sarah J. Maas's decision to write it?
Feyra's decision within the book.
Okay.
I mean, obviously it's Sarah J. Maas's brain.
Right.
But so I felt like she had already said she didn't want to have kids yet. And then she decided to have a kid because she had seen Rhys die. And I just didn't think that was the best time to make this kind of decision.
That's when lots of people decide. That's like real life though, right? Lots of people decide after trauma which doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Or because they're trying to hold on to someone and they think that's going to work.
Yeah. So I came around on that. I was fine with it in book 5. I mean,
that whole part though. I mean, I think there's lots of people out there talking about how just the whole part of her pregnancy and it being so dangerous, like why?
And him not telling her
how dangerous it was, and
like
the way
everyone
he
knowing
brooded
except
and,
her. Yeah, that was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Well,
like she didn't have to do it that way.
But that was.
Can we talk about the conception and why the baby was what it was?
I know. That's the part when it came back.
I still don't understand the logistics. So he was in bat form when she got pregnant.
So was she.
And so was she. She somehow took on bat form.
So like when you see National Geographic or like those like nature documentaries
also,
where like
I just want to circle that I was right about.
The
flying and how they fly.
They get cradled. They do not koala bear. So. You know when, like, you see those, like, documentaries of, like...
Carla's doing a weird
animals,
spinny thing with her finger.
And there's, like, 2 birds that are fighting midair. It's like that, but they weren't fighting. They were just, like...
And that's
also a weird, like, that's enjoyable.
Like, and out in the, like, how many people in Valaris
like you're just
saw
flying
this?
around fucking and that's comfortable?
Well, maybe there's some free fall action, and
Okay, wait.
that adds like some sort of like,
I have
whoa,
a question.
danger.
Because Andee, you're super smart, and I have a feeling you might know the answer
Oh,
to
dear.
this. How do
pressure's on.
bats procreate?
They're not in bat form. They just had wings.
Well, bats are mammals.
I know, but like, are they flying or are they stationary?
Oh.
That's my question, I guess.
Oh, well, most birds do it in flight, don't they?
Do they?
I thought they did it on a branch.
I don't think so.
Because I'm wondering maybe it's just staying true to the form that they were in. Because otherwise, like, just do it on the bed.
Well,
It doesn't sound comfortable to me. But maybe I'm just a traditionalist.
Maybe.
Well, it appears as though they sometimes are on a branch and they're sometimes not.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, so anyhow, that was weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure why why Sarah J. Maas felt the need for the baby for Feyra to be a bat at that point. Because it had
Yeah.
never happened before that we knew about. And that was one of the parts that I didn't even get until he explained it later. And I was like, should I go back and so when I reread, I'm interested to see that part. Like, why was she doing that? What is
Yeah.
the purpose? So that she could make her almost die and Nesta save her?
Yes.
Was it right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I don't know,
Nesta
it's-
needed a big redeeming
Right.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
it
like
was-
that for Nesta, but that whole part of the book, I was sort of like,
Skimming. Yeah.
I just didn't care about that.
I wonder how the baby will play into the next book. I kind of liked that Feyra and Rhys weren't such a part of book 5. Like, I liked exploring
Yes.
the other characters, but I'd imagine they will be a larger part of the next book.
I would
don't know.
I would imagine that they have to be. They're the main characters of this series, so they're gonna have to be brought back. And if Az goes after Elaine, and he gets in a fight with Lucien,
Terrible.
the whole group is gonna have to be involved with that.
Well, it wouldn't
because-
even be a fight. I mean, as Rhys could kill Lucien, it was just a thought.
You think that Lucien would get killed by Rhys, not by Az?
It doesn't either. Both, all. They
Well,
would
no,
all-
because if Az kills him, then obviously there's going to be fallout with Rhys because he has now killed an ally. Whereas if Rhys kills Lucien, he will be siding with Az, thereby making everything
I
have
don't-
to be cool.
I don't
'cause
think
who's gonna fight him?
that Rhys would side with anyone other than Az and Cassian. Automatically, always.
I think that's true.
He's going to go against a mating bond?
Yeah, because he said, I think he's very much. Rhys is a pretty cool feminist. You know, he always gave. Feyra always had the choice. He talks a lot about the choice that the woman has, and that it can be ignored. You don't
Yeah.
have to accept the bond. The bond is just the bond. It doesn't mean that you have to be together.
What about what that does in terms of war?
Well, I think
But
that'll
Lucien
you're
has
setting-
really sort of moved onto their side.
Yeah.
As the book 5 went on, didn't Lucien was
He was
spending,
helping them. Yeah.
Exactly. So it would be a problem if now there's this.
I don't think Lucien is going to.
alienation.
I don't think Sarah J. Maas would do that because people love Lucien. I think she's going to give.
I do
Lucien. I
like
think Lucien will
Lucien.
get
I
a
also
happy
think
ending.
if Elaine went another route, I don't know that Lucien would be heartbroken because what has he gotten out of that mating bond?
Right.
Yeah. Other than
I mean, he
just getting
blew it.
ignored.
The way he did it. Come on, Lucien.
Yeah.
Like she's still wet from the cauldron, soaking wet, and he drops that bomb on her. Come on, Lucien.
I don't see him being heartbroken over it.
I
think
think
it's-
he would
I
get-
think
I
it would
don't
be.
think
Isn't
so.
it physical?
He's not
It's
even
also
around.
physically painful, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yes, but I think it'll be better in the long run.
I have a question back to the baby. Sorry to harp on this, but So Feyra got all of the powers from everyone, right? Because they all brought her back. And then
Yeah.
they did the same thing for Rhys, right? When he died.
Yeah.
So does that make the baby like super ultra powerful
I
to
think
have?
so.
Yes.
And then do you think that baby will have like a target on their back,
Yes.
For sure.
right?
They said that when Feyre was running away from Tamlin and going back and forth between Tamlin and Rhys, that was one of the reasons that Tamlin was afraid of people finding out that she had these powers.
Yeah.
Because she would be kidnapped and basically used as a breeding mare. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, probably.
Dude, there's going to be some high security on that little toddler.
That's right.
Yeah. There's going to be some, what is that? The shield thing that Rhys had on Feyre during their pregnancy?
A bubble. He's going to live in a bubble.
He's going to be Bubble Boy until
Yes.
he's old enough to be badass by himself.
And
Which,
then-
since his parents are Feyre and Rhys, is probably going to be when he's 2.
And Uncle Cassian and Uncle Az teaching them all the tricks.
Oh, that's going to be cute.
right.
That will be cute.
That
So
will be cute.
Yeah. Which,
Okay.
are you going to read it, Carla?
So it's going to be cute, but I'm not interested in reading about a toddler being trained.
Yeah, but I mean, do you have any desire to read book 6, or are you done?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel yet.
Yeah.
I
know it's been a struggle.
It has
for
been a
you
struggle,
to get through these.
but I have gotten used to the characters, and like I said, I do care about what happens to them.
Yeah.
And you want to know about Az's wingspan, right?
Az kind of grosses me out.
What?
Okay, and this is why.
The plot thickens, folks.
Okay, this is why.
I
Why?
thought that Carla and I could have drinks, but I don't think so.
I like Cassian.
Side note, Carla and Andee are meeting for the first time today.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, basically, Az's personality just kind of, like, weirds me out because...
I agree. I like him.
He's a shadows.
yeah.
yeah,
What does that mean?
but,
What does he
like,
do?
I feel he sings to the shadows.
What
I
does
don't
that
know.
mean?
He's a gossip. That's what that means. He's
I
a
know,
spy.
but when you go off to do your thing, like, are you standing on a corner somewhere and then your shadow's going into
Yeah.
like, the mansion and like?
Yeah.
It's like Zayden.
True.
Ugh.
Fantasy is
wanna go
not
home.
Carla's world.
And it's so funny because I'm actually not a big fantasy reader. The reason that I like ACOTAR and Fourth Wing series is because they have toilets. Because it's not set in this world that has like jewels from money and all
Yeah.
this weird stuff. Like you can picture it happening.
I agree that I like the fact that they have some sort of like they're not all walking through mud.
Right.
Oh, I like that very much.
Right.
Yes.
Wearing petticoats.
Right.
No, you don't like petticoats.
Oof, I do not like a petticoat. So I do agree with that. I just I'm very in a box about the things that I like and accept, and maybe that's what it is
Right.
for me. That's the reason why I'm so like, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
like
This is definitely not your go-to genre.
it's not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for some reason, like I'll accept like monsters and scary books. Like I'm
It's totally
interested
different,
in
though.
I'm interested in knowing what their origin is with monsters. Like for it, for example, I really want to find like I wish we could know like more about the origin of
How he became.
Pennywise. That's like so interesting to me. And the turtle and like all of that stuff. Like why?
So you were saying about Az.
Oh, so right with Az. Okay, so I feel that his personality is not as kind as Rhys and Cassian's.
I could see that.
I feel like he's a little bit. I feel like he has the potential of causing emotional damage more than the other two.
Yes, I agree.
Not only that, But there was a point where Rhys said that Az's backstory scared him. Which is like, what you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, what did Az do?
What did Az do? Because we know that Cassian destroyed a village, and that's not scary to Rhys. So what did Az do that's so much worse than what Cassian has done?
Right.
Yeah. So I just don't know about Az's personality. I feel like he has the potential of... He has more of a potential of being bad than his two brothers.
Agreed.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
I don't think he will.
Let us shake on it.
I don't think that will be the arc
No,
that
I don't
his
think so.
character takes.
No.
But
Yeah.
I do agree that, he's that standoffish kind of guy.
He has a little bit of a darker side.
Which
Which
I
he-
should like, but
Interesting.
I love that Cassian is, like, he's just funny. Like,
Right.
all the shit that he's gone through,
Right.
and he still strikes me as this personality that's just kind of, like, goofy and funny and, like, takes life as it comes.
I
you
like
know?
that. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think that Az is going to be evil, but I think that he
more
has
of that
the
potential.
potential of evil.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they've all done terrible things, right? I mean, they all have.
They're all murderers.
Right.
Morally gray men,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
which we love to read about.
That's right.
Yeah. Sweet.
That's cool.
Was there anything else, Carla?
There's so much.
So much.
There's so much meat to these bones.
Well, we probably need to wrap it up in like 5. Is there anything else that you really want to touch on? Feeling the pressure of time.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about anything?
No,
Andee?
I think everything we're talking about is good.
I feel like this could have gone into multiple episodes just because there's so much to discuss. I mean, we didn't even go into Gwen and Emery and
That whole thing.
We didn't go into the priestesses. We didn't go into
Which is
just
so
a
sad.
lot.
Right.
Oh my God.
I know.
Do we want to end on the priestesses?
No, probably not,
No.
because that's a bummer.
What about like the surreal?
Jeez, Louise.
I was sad when the surreal died.
I was too.
Yeah. Convenient source of information. She also was able to find him very quickly.
I know.
Then
She can catch a Suriel for sure. I think the Suriel ended up really liking Feyra.
Yeah.
yeah.
They
Yeah, I
were
don't think they
friends.
would have been as cooperative.
Yeah.
There's a
didn't.
theory that one of the beloved characters from Throne of Glass is the Suriel.
Oh, like became the surreal? Origin
Like
story.
they died and became the Surreal.
She does die in the series, and
What's the origin story? Like, who were they in that story?
I think it's her name is Caltaine.
Was she a good person?
She was, but she was terribly, terribly abused. And terrible, terrible things happened to her.
Yeah.
And so when you see people talking about it, you can see how it does make sense. And you know that Sarah J. Maas, she's trying to put it all together. And some people think that, is it that ACOTAR is on top of Throne of Glass? Like, it's later in time, so the world is built on top. You know how old civilizations are buried.
Okay.
That's like buried.
Whoa.
Right.
So that
Okay.
would also make sense.
Wait a second.
You have to have Michelle on to talk about the Throne of Glass series.
If we ever get there.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you saying that Throne of Glass is prior to the Fae?
Well, no, they are Fae. There are Fae in Throne of Glass series.
Because, okay, so
It
it's
would be
after
like
the hunt.
The Mayan civilization,
Correct.
for example.
Exactly.
To,
You know,
of
archaeologists
Glass
dig
being-
up. Somehow our world just keeps
Because
making more dirt.
I thought
Pompeii.
that maybe you were talking about the time of the hunt that was brought up in the prison.
It might, right. So it could all be.
Oh.
And then Amren, where does she come from?
Yeah.
But the book that she's talking about, that book that she finds that Amren and Feyra find, and
Yeah.
they said it's called the Lashon HaKodesh. That's a Hebrew for, yeah. So I think that Amren was human, and now maybe she's a vampire. That's why she drinks blood. But I think when she's going back and trying to learn this language, I think it's like the Bible or the
Relearning.
Torah. She's learning how to read in like Hebrew or something.
When she says that she was a general for her father and that she decided to stay in this world, they were otherworldly.
And she's been around for so long she doesn't even remember.
Dun, dun, dun.
Jiminy
But
crickets.
when she drinks
Right?
blood, the only thing I know of that drinks blood is a vampire.
Yeah.
So, but she's the only one of her kind, and so who knows? But it's so interesting. The little
Tidbits that overlap. What?
I really liked it when Nesta came in, like, really pissed off at Amren, and Varian, like, tried to shield her with water.
So cute.
Varian.
so sweet,
Aw.
so sweet.
That was cute.
That was cute.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
thank
So
you,
much.
Andee.
Thanks for
There's a lot.
having me.
Yes, I know. I feel like we just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Barely. Yes.
I really would have liked to discuss more inappropriate things with you guys, but oh well.
I feel like dick size was a good and appropriate conversation.
Fine.
We'll continue this later.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you guys have any big theories or thoughts on the ACOTAR, we'd love to hear them, and we'd love to hear what you've been reading, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks
Thank you,
again,
Andee.